So I'm going to talk to you about management a little bit today, and I'm going to try to kind of overview the whole topic just in general, but I also want to help you guys get your work done. So we're going to go over some parts of the work that you actually have to complete. I'm going to see how I can help you with that, okay? All right, so I love this because I have people who tell me this all the time. They're like, you come out here and you tell me how to do my job, but you don't really know how to do my job. So is that management? Okay, I get to correct people on a pretty regular basis because I actually do know how to do most of the jobs at our facility, from, and I am not kidding you, cleaning the toilets and sweeping the floors, all the way up to running, some of the most expensive machinery we have, and physically building stuff with my own hands. I actually had dirt all over my pants today before I came in here because I was out there and we got some parts in from a supplier and they weren't good, and I stood there and corrected them myself. So I do know how to do most of the jobs at our facility. I can tell you that the people that we promote at our facility are also people who have been there and know the jobs. So management isn't just something that you walk into, unless you start your own business, and say, okay, I manage everything. You really do have to learn all the aspects of what you're doing to really be able to effectively manage. So it's not just about getting to tell people what to do. You kind of have to know what you're doing to tell them that. So management, obviously, it's a process of planning things, organizing things, making sure that you control your resources, hold people accountable, and then you're going to achieve specific goals, right? So every day we start our day by looking at all the stuff that we have to accomplish for the day, for the week, for the month, and for the rest of the year. And that's how we plan. We organize things by delivery dates, by due dates, whatever it might be, and just things that have to get done. And then I tell people what to do. That's the direct part. Okay? The controlling part is super important. It sounds a little worse than it is. No, I don't go around and control every little thing they do. That would be micromanagement, which we don't want to do. We're not going to talk about that too much. But holding people accountable. The biggest thing that I find about holding people accountable is holding myself accountable. I can't very well walk out to an employee and say, you were 20 minutes late this morning, and so you're in trouble if I'm 20 minutes late, right? So I have to be at work on time every single day. If I tell the employees in our company that I'm going to do something, I have to do it. And I'm really careful to tell them what I'm going to do, because sometimes you get caught, But it's really, really important to have personal accountability before you can start holding other people accountable. And I have to say that I always am so happy to talk to these groups because, you guys are taking a very big step in personal accountability by being here. You're looking at for your futures already by investing time in something outside of school. Well, okay, so you're inside of school, but outside of your regular school hours, and you're investing in yourself. And that's a big deal. So you guys should be proud of yourself for that. All right, what's a manager? Can you guys see that? Okay, a little bit. So a lot of people think that top picture is what a manager does all day. They sit in their office and they point at people and you go do this, you go. I don't think that's really a great way to manage. My management style and what I prefer and hope that I can achieve every day is this bottom picture. I don't like to just tell people what to do all the time. I don't think a lot of good managers like to just tell people what to do all the time. They like to show them. They like to lead by example. And so if your employees are down in the trenches producing millions of dollars worth of work, and all you ever do is sit there and tell them what to do, and you don't ever help them, and they don't ever see you contributing other than telling them what to do, it's not going to work well. So what makes a good manager? We kind of just talked about that a little bit. Here are some of the qualities that are on the slide. Having a healthy leadership style, sound decision making, communication, time management, interpersonal skills. This one's big, technical understanding. Let's talk about this for a second. Have you guys picked your businesses yet? What's your business? Childcare. Okay. Well, I'm going to guess that if you've never cared for a child before, you can't really tell someone else how to do it, right? So yeah, having a technical knowledge of how to care for children is going to be really important if you start bringing people on board and hiring people. So you're going to need to actually know how to care for a child. So what other businesses? Have any of the rest of you picked yet? Yes? You want to speak for your group since you guys are so shy over there?
We have a dog grooming spa.
Oh, that rocks. I gotta tell you, I just paid $90 this weekend to have my dog groomed. I'm not kidding. That is a lot. So if you're going to offer cheaper prices, you make sure you call me. That's awesome, a dog grooming spa. Okay, so again, you're going to need to know how to groom a dog before you bring in people and start telling them they're grooming dogs wrong, right? So that's going to be important. You guys tell me some good leadership qualities that you think are important that aren't on this slide. How about you guys? Do you think that's good enough if I just do that every day? It's golden. No? What else do you think? You don't know? Does anybody have any good ideas? What might make a good leader besides just these things? Or, I'm sorry, it's good manager. Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. You're right. And we talked about that. It's very, very important. What, anybody else? How about you guys back in the back? All right, how about you?
Confidence.
That is important. That's really important. You know, sometimes, this brings up a very good point. Sometimes, when you have people who, and we're in this position in our own business right now, who are very unsure, you're very worried about your business, you're very worried about all of the things that you have to accomplish or something that went wrong. You know, if you have a whole bunch of people who report to you and you're standing there going, I have no idea what to do, I'm so stressed out, I'm so worried, how do you think all your employees are going to feel?
Stressed out.
Very stressed out, very worried. I remind myself of this on a regular basis. Put you on speed dial and call you and say, what am I supposed to do? You can have confidence. You know, that's something that I struggle with sometimes too, because I get really busy and I get really stressed out, and I know that the 40 people who have to deal with me every day and report to me directly are like, oh, she's having a bad day. That's not good. So having that confidence to say, okay guys, I know we have a lot to do, I know we made a big mistake, whatever it was, let's get through it, let's do this, let's take care of it. And a big portion of confidence comes from having a technical understanding of what you're doing, knowing what you're doing, and being confident in your own skills. I can tell you there are days that it's way over my head, but it's important at that point to have good people under you who can help you out. And so if you're not confident in your own skills for something, lean on somebody that you are very confident in, that is a technical expert and that can help you out, and trust them. So that's very good. All right, so you guys are actually going to have to write your management plan, right? And that's part of your overall business plan that you're coming up with. Okay, so parts of that you're going to have to do, create a list of measurable objectives. Do you guys have any idea what those would be for your businesses? What's your guys' business back there?
We're online advertising, like a marketing firm.
Okay, so I'm going to take a stab in the dark here because I don't really know much about online advertising, but I would assume that maybe a measurable objective for you is going to be, are we getting customers, and is the marketing that we're doing for our customers working for them? Are they getting customers? Does that make sense? Okay, so you'd have to figure out what's a measurable objective to figure out if that's actually working. So that's a big part of it. Did you guys already tell me your business and I already forgot? No, what's your business? A broadcasting business? Okay. What's a measurable objective for that? You guys thought about that at all? No, not yet?
Maybe like viewers.
That's true. Yeah, how many viewers do you get? Okay, so that's something that, you know, you'll need to, and that's going to be part of your plan. So whatever your business is, be thinking of what you're trying to accomplish and write down what that is and how you're going to measure it, how you're going to make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. Organize the objectives into tasks. So each little tiny things. If you've got to get customers, okay, how are you going to go about getting customers? So whatever you're going to do to get those customers, that's going to be a task. Within a department, define positions required to complete tasks. Obviously, that's pretty self-explanatory, but if someone has to do a very specific thing, then you're going to need to define that for them. And I saw somewhere you provided me with a list. All right, so we have some optimizers. Alexis Hughes, did I pronounce that right? Is she here? Hey, how you doing? Let's see. How about Alexis Abbott? Is she here? You, it says on my list here, are an implementer. So that means you're going to get things done. So when somebody is writing these, defining these positions, you would be a great person to accomplish those things, to do it, because according to your behavior profile, that's what you're good at. So who else on here? Let's see, who else can I pick on? Is Madeline Spence here? No. How about Katie Murphy? Is she here? Man, is anybody from Marion here? How about Anna Hussong? Man, I'm gonna try one more and then I'm just gonna give up. Hannah Rumsey, is she here? Hannah, all right, so you're a generator. So you're a good person at getting things started, right? She's like, yeah, I'll do it, sure, why not? So if you need some things done, I'm gonna go over here and say, here, this is what I thought about and this is how we need to get it done, or this is what we need to do. You might be a good person to say, you know, I've been thinking about this and this is definitely something that we need to do, but probably not gonna be the person that actually does it. And that's okay. Everybody, you know, has to have different roles in their group, so it works out well if you have a team that has a lot of different. Did I embarrass you? Are you shy? Did I call on you? So, well, I don't think that this stuff is just mad science. I think there's actually some real science behind it. So if it's what it says you are, you probably are. So, and did they get these yet? Do they know what they are?
They should have all gotten those training needed the best.
I gotta tell you, getting older sucks. I'm so hot. All right, so you're going to determine how each objective will be met. You're going to measure your results and hold, there's that word again, accountability. You're going to hold people accountable, okay? So this is all part of writing your management plan and what needs to go in it. If you guys have specific questions about that more, we can talk about that later and you just let me know. Here's, you know, more parts of the actual management plan, the ownership structure, internal management team, external management team, and human resources. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to go through a couple of more slides. Okay, so the ownership structure. You're going to have levels in management and a chain of command. So top managers in your company are going to be like the president and the CEO, the CFO. In our company, we have a chief financial officer, we have a president and a vice president. So we would be the top management group in our company. The owners of our company are not present anymore. My dad retired and he just comes in to yell at us occasionally, which is, you know, uncomfortable, but whatever, it's fine. Then middle managers, operations manager, plant manager. I'm also right now our acting plant manager. So I'm doing both of those roles right now, which is really fun and exciting, but super busy. And first line managers, foreman, shop supervisor. You're going to have people probably that lead. If you have a whole big child care, you know, facility, you're going to have people that are, you're going to probably have like an overall daycare director. Then you're going to have maybe a team leader for each of your different grades, somebody who's in charge of the specific room, you know, things like that. It's kind of hard for me to hit on the internet marketing stuff and really work through that because I don't know a lot about that stuff, and I'm not going to stand up here and pretend that I do. I've been in manufacturing and operations my whole adult life. So as far as the internet stuff goes, you guys are on your own. I'm just kidding. You really have to think about the whole structure of your business and how that goes. So I would think that if you get to be a really big advertising firm, and I do know somebody who has an internet advertising firm, and his name is Devin, and he makes a ton of money, so good luck. Remember me when you're rich. He has, I think, 40 or 50 employees, and that's all they do all day is work on the internet. So I don't really know how his business is structured, but I know he makes a ton of money, so it's a good idea. All right. We'll talk a little bit more about the other groups of management. This here talks about your internal management. Identify what job responsibilities they are and what categories they fit into, what people need to do, and it's going to vary by your business. Did you guys tell me back there what your business is? I have a terrible memory, so if you did, I'm sorry. Renovating houses, like flipping them? Okay, so that's, I'm not going to say it's easy, but I think that would be something that you could structure fairly easily with who you're going to hire, how you're going to hire them, what they're going to do. That's something that it could be, I think, simply called out. You're going to need somebody to advertise for you. You're going to need somebody who's actually going to work on the houses, need somebody to manage contracts, all that kind of stuff. So you have to identify, you know, who in your company is good at those things and make sure that you assign the right people to the right jobs. Okay. External resources. These are super important, and we at our business have a lot of external resources. You can hire external resources to do everything for you. We don't do that, but we have an outside company that does, our CFO does all of our money. She takes care of all of that. But we have an outside tax auditing company that comes in once a year and they go over everything and make sure we didn't mess up. They make sure everything that we do is right, all the money is accounted for, and that way somebody who doesn't work inside is taking care to make sure that whoever is working inside isn't doing anything wrong with our money, and that we're paying all the applicable taxes that we need to be paying, payroll taxes, all that kind of stuff. Many businesses have these external resources, and it's something that you'll want to be thinking about as you're going on in your business. Last year, I think it was, we had a team that was, they do like some kind of organic food, or it was something like that, tea. I can't remember exactly. Something to do with food related. I was in a food FDA related role for about 7 years before I became a cabinet maker, and I can tell you that external management and external resources, if you're in any kind of regulated industry like food, I think childcare would really fall under that too, because you're going to have auditors come in and make sure that you're doing everything that you're supposed to do. I know our daycare, I have a 1-year-old baby, 17 months now, and he goes to a daycare, and he could never sleep there when he first started going because they were not allowed to put babies in cribs with any blankets. Like, they had to go just in. Well, I read all the rules. I know you're not supposed to put a blanket in your baby's bed. My kid will not sleep without a blanket. It's not happening. So he wouldn't sleep at daycare, and they kept asking and asking, what can we do? What can we do? I'm like, give him a blanket. And they're like, we'll get fired. We can't. Listen to him cry then. I don't know. So they ended up, he just slept on their shoulder for 10 months or whatever. So, hey, whatever. Wasn't sleeping on my shoulder. But anyway, so those things are really, really important that, you need to be thinking about. You need to be thinking about from an internal perspective how you're going to hire people. What are going to be the things that you discipline people for or fire them for, unfortunately, because that will come up at some point, I'm sure. Create a whole plan, and this all needs to be part of your management plan, how you're going to handle all of those things and what you're going to do about it. So, all right. Part of what you're going to need to do in your plan is present your employees' skills. And when you say you're going to go to the bank for a loan for this business that you're coming up with, okay, they're going to want all that information. They're going to want to know that the person that you have in charge of running your business is capable of running it. They're going to want to know that the people that you have in charge of doing the daily tasks have the skill level to complete it. Otherwise, who's going to want to give you a loan to run your business if you don't have qualified people doing it, right? So that's all really important to put on paper and make sure that you present your whole business in the best possible light, and your management plan is going to be such a huge part of that. Okay, so I'm going to get to this closing part, and I'm going to ask you guys what questions you have, and then I want to talk to you just a little bit more about actually getting your work done. So, what questions do you have? Okay, let's go. We're done. No? Surely you have some questions, right? No? Anyone?